We had a group of friends in high school and like half of us were doing engineering. All of the guys ended up changing their major and none of the girls did. It was great. I loved having a flat. I loved finding it. I loved like just doing the normal things like grocery shopping and, like having a commute or like meeting friends for dinner. When I don't know the science behind that, maybe some people are like worse at things than others, but I remember that always helped me. But I didn't even know what I was getting into. Like I didn't know being a tech founder was going to be that hard. Like,
hello, cuties. Welcome to another episode of Brown Girl Unscripted. It's your girl Rucha. I'm the host of the podcast, and today's episode we have Natalie Barbu, the founder of Rella and a creator. Welcome to Brown Girl Unscripted, Queen.
hi, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. How is your day going?
It's going really great. I feel like today was a very productive day, actually. So, not every day feels as productive, but today I feel like I got a ton done. So, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, with building Rella, would love to kind of dive into a bit more about your journey with that since you've been productive and a bit about like what got you started with Rella.
Yeah, so Rella is a project management tool for social media teams, but it didn't always start out that way. It actually started as a tool for creators. And for context, I've been a creator since 2011. So I started really early days on YouTube, has since evolved on like Instagram, TikTok, all the things. I still do YouTube videos as well. But I was a content creator. I was able to do content creation full time. And I also had started an agency. And part of my agency, I was helping other creators as well. So when I first had the idea for Rella, it was for people on social media, but it was specifically for creators like myself that were just juggling a bunch of different things. And I wanted something that could like help creators manage brand deals and manage content and kind of like manage everything that they were doing. So we launched that in 2021, I think, or 2020, no, sorry, 2022. We launched that.
Yeah.
And it was a journey. It was typical first time founder, made every single mistake in the book. And then last year, we actually decided that this company was not going to survive if we continued to just cater to creators. Like we, added way too many features, did way too many things. And so we were like, okay, we need to go back to the drawing board and who is actually going to benefit from this type of company and from this app and like, or who do we want to target? And so we started targeting businesses instead. So we actually completely relaunched and restarted. We like threw away the app. Like you cannot find it anymore. We got rid of it. And we completely relaunched with what you see today. So now we're project management for social media teams, and creators can obviously still use us. I still use it for all my content creation stuff, but we market ourselves and target businesses instead. And it's been going really well, but it's been something that like I came up with from the experience I had from running an agency while also being a full-time creator myself.
Wow, I mean, that's really exciting. And it sounds like you were a user of the product before anything else. So I feel like that's a great space to be in as a founder.
Yeah, I definitely think if you don't have experience, whether it's firsthand experience or it's experience like you've seen someone else, deal with these problems, then it's going to be really hard to like consistently show up for that business. So I'm really glad that I'm the target audience. And even to this day, I am the social media manager for Rella. Like I post and create all of our content. And I use Rella every single day. It's like the app that I spend the most time in, not for testing, for like being an actual user of the product.
No, I love that. But I'm curious to hear. So why not just stick to full-time content creation and also start your own company? Because like those are both two full-time jobs. So tell me more about what inspired you to do this specifically, because being a tech founder is no joke.
Yeah. So I always knew that I didn't just want to be an influencer. I always said that I wanted to use my platform on social media to start something else and start a business. So my first, like, not my first love, but like my first goal in career goal or career aspiration was to start my own business. Like from a young age, I've always said I want to start my own business one day. I just didn't know what exactly it was. So once I became a full-time influencer, full-time content creator, I was obviously really happy because I was able to work for myself and be my own boss, but I still was like missing that like sinking my teeth into something and like actually building something outside of myself. And so I always knew that I wanted to use my social media platform to build a business. I didn't know what that business was going to look like. So I had started an agency. I had done a bunch of other little endeavors because I did always want to just not be like an influencer and that was it. And then once I, had the idea for Rella, I kind of dove in head first, but I didn't even know what I was getting into. Like, I didn't know being a tech founder was going to be that hard. Like, I didn't know anything about it, you know? So I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, there's this problem and I want to solve it. Let me figure out how to do it. And that's kind of been my mindset throughout life, is just like, if I want to do something, I'm at least gonna try. And even if it doesn't, like, even if I don't stick with it, that's fine, but I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna try my best to, you know, to do this thing that I've been wanting to do. And that's kind of what happened with Rella.
Wait, I love that. And then with what you mentioned about, having made all the mistakes the first time founder does, definitely can relate to that. What were the ways in which that you felt like you pivoted from those so quickly to get it to where it is now? I know you explained a bit about, going back to the drawing board and getting Rella to be more B2B versus more versus B2C from before. Like, is that the primary pivot, or like have there been other pivots in the past?
I mean, we've made so many mistakes along the way. Like, that's definitely been the biggest pivot. But throughout the entire journey of Rella, we've always been like, let's do this. Okay, never mind. Let's try this. Okay, that didn't work. Let's do something else. I think that when you're the founder of a company and even like a content creator, you're always adjusting, you're always pivoting, you're always testing,
Yeah.
seeing what works, going back to the drawing board. So I think that's just the nature of working for yourself or being your own boss or being an entrepreneur, is like test and iterate, test and iterate. We've always been doing that, but I'm actually starting a new podcast and a new show. It's called Just Grow With It. And I'm really like diving into like everything I've learned being a business owner. So I'm excited about that, because like if you ask me what's the biggest lesson you've learned, it's like, where do I begin? I can write a whole book on every lesson I've learned. So I
Yeah.
figured I would dedicate my channel and everything to helping other founders or business owners. But it's all about testing. Like, you constantly have to test, and then don't be afraid to change. So like, don't be married to an idea. Like, thank God we weren't married to that first idea that we had for Rella, or else we wouldn't be where we are today.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Congrats on the new podcast. That's
Thank
super
you.
exciting.
I know I
Are
haven't
you
said it anywhere, so you get the first.
Oh my God. Okay, y'all hear that? Tell me a bit more about how you balance creating content for Rella and then like being at the front end, back end, and then also managing your own content creation on your personal platform. Tell me more about that.
It's all about your systems. Like, I swear you have to be organized. I mean, for Rella, we're a lot more organized than I am for my personal stuff. But now, starting this new show, I'm realizing like, oh gosh, I need to be so on top of it. Like, I want to be 4 episodes ahead at all times. Like, at a minimum, that's like how far in advance I want to be, just because being a founder and, running a business and everything like that, I can't really be, coming up with a new episode on the fly every single week. So I want to kind of have my ducks in a row and be ahead. So it's a lot of prep work. So I spend days prepping everything. So I will prep our entire content calendar in one day, and I do that all on Rella, obviously. So I'll like plan out all the content, add the script, all of that stuff. But I add everything. I add the script, I add the shot list, I add absolutely everything that I need. I put it on the calendar. And same with my podcast. I have the entire script written for 8 episodes already. And I even
Okay.
have I have like in the script like highlights about like, okay, this would probably be a good like short form clip, or this would be probably a good like clip for Instagram or whatever. And then I have like social media posts that I'll be doing to promote this episode, and like what those are going to look like. Or I just like I've had to plan ahead, and I'm not someone that likes to plan ahead, so I've had to discipline myself to do it. So now when it's actually time to film, I can sit down, just pull up Rella, look at the script, read it while I'm, chatting. And then I'll have days where I'm editing. So like this week, Friday is going to be my editing day. I've already like put it in the calendar. I'm like, oh, no one talk to me. I'm editing all day from all the content that I filmed, and that the filming came easy because I was able to prep. Like today I filmed, which I said was a productive day. I filmed the entire September's month of content in an hour. Like it
Oh my
was,
God,
because I had
girl.
all the prep work done. Like I have the script, I have the shot list. Granted, I'm not making these like cinematic movies. They're not like, super high production, but I'm just glad I was able to like knock it out. And then later this week, I'll sit down and I'll edit everything.
Oh my God, you're such a girl boss. No, honestly, that is really helpful for anyone who is looking to start their own thing, because I think those systems being in place, like what you said, being ahead, that makes so much sense. And I mean, the fact that you filmed 1 month's worth of content in, you said an hour, right?
Yeah, literally I knocked it out because I just like I look at the script, and like a lot of them I'm just like sitting down talking. So I just have the script, I film one video, okay, move on to the next. Like it's not super high quality. I'm not like driving around the city and like trying to get a bunch of shots. It's just like me talking or me showing something on my computer, but
Yeah.
still getting a month's worth of content done that quickly, I'm considering it a win.
No, that's such a win. I truly do believe in the power of like imperfection over just not getting something done because like at the end of the day you're gonna learn from the results anyway, so you'd rather have it done rather than keep on procrastinating that. So I'm totally with you.
Yeah, I always say that. Like, perfectionism is going to kill execution. Like, you have to just do it. Just post the content, start the business, you'll figure it out along the way. Like, that's the best way to learn.
No, I love that. And then also like since you're also a daughter of immigrants, since we talked about that like off the show, I'd love to hear more when you're navigating caring less what other people think, when you have so many different ventures you're building, what has been the thing when it comes to mindset that's helped you so much in keep on building these and getting to a point of success despite all of the things that we're maybe told of like, oh, you can't do this, you shouldn't do this, etc. What's been your big mindset lesson for that?
Yeah, I definitely give a lot of credit to my parents and the way that we all grew up and that they raised me is that I was never told, at least in the home, that like I couldn't do something because of, you know, my parents' background or because of I was a girl or because of this. You know, like I was never told that that was something that was going to be like a a struggle or anything like that. Like I was always told that I can do whatever I want and I can try whatever I want and if I'm curious about something, go for it. So it wasn't until honestly I'd say probably like high school is when I started hearing people being like, "Oh, like you want to go into engineering, for example, which is what I studied in school. You're going to do engineering, like no girls do that. Good luck. You're probably going to, you know, drop out or like not drop out, but like change your major." And I didn't, you know, I stuck with it. I got a degree in it. And that was the first time I was like, why are people saying that? Like, what does it matter if I'm a girl or a boy? Like, it's not like boys have bigger brains. Like, I just like didn't understand. I was like, what difference does it make? And I really didn't get that because growing up in my house, like both my parents were engineers. So like I saw my mom do that. My mom had a job when I was growing up and like was working. So like I saw her do that. I saw, you know, it was never something that was like, oh, you can't do something because of this. So I always was so confused when I like went into the world and then people would say that and be like, oh, well, it's going to be a lot harder for you. And I was like, why? Like, I don't really understand that.
Yeah.
So I really thank my parents because whenever I wanted to try something, they let me do it. Like, even when I started YouTube, this was in 2011. So like things have changed. Like I know now that doesn't seem like a big deal to post videos on the internet, but like back then that was like stranger danger. Like be careful what you're posting online. I don't know who's watching you. Like it was very, very weird. And I
Yeah.
remember telling my mom I was starting to post on YouTube and she was helping me come up with video ideas. She was, you know, so encouraging about it. And at 15 in 2011, like a lot of parents I think would be like, oh, you know, maybe not, like maybe focus on school, do this, but like they always let me, you know, pursue creative things. And they did have expectations for me. Like I did go into engineering because they set those expectations for me. They didn't want me going into like a more creative field when it came to like getting a degree, which I had used to like fight them on that, but like now I'm happy that I didn't. But, you know, so they had those expectations, but like they always believed in me and there was never anything that was like, you can't do something because of this. Whereas like when I went out in the world, that was something that I was told.
Oh my God. Okay, we love your parents. They seem iconic. And as a fellow woman in STEM, I love that for you. Engineering school is no joke. So the fact that like I think getting that support and just the baseline of okay, well you can do anything, engineering school is like not a big deal. I love that. And honestly it's fucked up that people told you that you couldn't do it outside of that. So screw them.
I know. I remember we had a group of friends in high school and like half of us were doing engineering. And I think there were like two girls or three girls that were doing engineering in the group and then
Yeah.
a couple guys doing engineering in the group. And someone had said like, I guarantee that all of the girls are going to change their major before they graduate. And like, didn't say anything about the guys. And what's funny is that actually all of the guys ended up changing their major and none of the girls did. And I just thought that was so funny. I was like, well, guess you were wrong. Like engineering is hard, but you know, I'm glad that the women in the group stuck it out.
No, I absolutely love that. I've actually had a similar experience as well within the friend group that I had in college where like I mean as you know, it's since it's a competitive major, so many people do drop out, but it was the girls that like got the color-coded pens and got their organization and like kept it going, but like a lot of the guys did drop out. So definitely something I can relate to for sure. And I mean like even just going to the engineering school example, was there any sort of advice you would give to someone going into engineering school now?
Yeah, I think it's just, I mean, obviously, yes, it's difficult and it's hard, and I cried over multiple classes. And I think one, you don't have to have a perfect GPA or anything like that. Like, your GPA really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things as long as it doesn't fall like super low where you're on academic probation or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
I was not a straight A student in college. Like in high school I was, and then in college I had to get used to like not being a straight A student anymore. I got C's, I got 1D. Like I was not like a perfect student or anything like that, but the thing is I graduated and that's all that mattered. And I ended up getting a job at a consulting company right out of school. So you can do it even if you don't get like straight A's. So I think just not putting that much pressure on yourself because it is hard and it's okay not to be absolutely perfect. You just have to like try your best and get through it. It's one of those things where you just have to push through. And I also think speaking back to like kind of what my parents would always tell me is I remember growing up, if I was like struggling in a math class or, like not understanding something, I would be like, oh, I hate math. And my parents would always tell me like, no, you don't. You're just like, you're not. Or if I was like, oh, I'm so bad at math, they're like, no, you're not. That's like a mindset. Like you just need to learn it. Like that's it. Like you just need to study it and get the like once you understand it, then you'll be good at it or you'll understand it. But like no one is intrinsically necessarily like bad at something. It's just like maybe you're not interested in it or you don't like it. But like if you really push yourself and try hard enough, you can be good at it. I don't know the science behind that. Maybe some people are like worse than at things than others, but I remember that always helped me being like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm not bad at it. I just need to like study more. And then I'll get it. So that helped me a lot.
Wait, I love that. I think that's actually so true though. I think like with anything, sometimes people forget that you're gonna be bad at something before you're good at it, no matter what it is. Like it's like drawing, where drawing is something you learn how to do, but in the beginning, you're gonna look like a kindergartner just writing random shit, you know? But then as you keep doing, you get better. I think the same thing applies to math, even though it uses a different part of your brain. So yeah, even if it's more complex in terms of like the thinking, I just feel like it definitely just takes you pushing yourself. So yeah, I love that. Good on your parents for doing that. And that's actually really good advice.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna definitely instill that in my kids. Like, you might not like something, but it doesn't mean that you're just like naturally bad at it and you don't have to try. Like, you can still try and understand it.
Yeah, and if anything, I feel like trying something and pushing yourself actually gives you the option of seeing if you actually like it or not. Because sometimes, like, for instance, something like social media, so many people don't like it in the beginning, but then the second they start to go viral, they're like, oh, I actually like this and it's fun to do. It's just you didn't like the fact that you weren't getting as many views in the beginning. That's kind of the difference, right? So, I totally agree with that. And then going off the same boat, though, so when it comes to trying new things, trying new experiences, this past summer you spent it in London. Tell us more about that and like what it was like living abroad, since a lot of people nowadays want to do that. Like, what was your experience, and just especially living alone, etc. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I loved it. I mean, I've always been someone that loves to try new cities out. So, for example, like after I graduated college, I lived in LA for a summer. I lived in New York City for a year. I moved to Miami, and that's where I am now. And then I spent this past summer in London. And now that know that I can like just bop around more often, I'm like, where am I gonna go next summer?
Yeah.
But I loved it. London's one of my favorite cities. It's very easy to be like culturally adjusted since they speak the same language, and it feels similar enough to where I'm from and from the US. So I really loved it. My boyfriend lives in London, so that's why I was there. But I did like live alone while I was there. And it was great. I loved having a flat. I loved finding it. I loved like just doing the normal things like grocery shopping and, like having a commute or like meeting friends for dinner one day. Like I just loved doing normal life there and
Yeah.
experiencing that. And it was obviously super nice to have my boyfriend there because we're long distance. So
Oh
being
my God. Yeah.
together for about like 3 months was really, really nice.
That's so nice. No, I love that. I feel like that sounds like you had a very independent, like British summer sort of vibe. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. That's definitely I feel like I'm a very independent person. So it was nice to be able to like go there and also be with him and but also have like my own life there too.
Yeah, if you were to give any sort of advice or someone looking to go to London, I mean, obviously there's not a language barrier, but is there anything you wish you would have known going into it?
I think I always underestimate how expensive things are there because the pound is weaker than the or stronger than the dollar.
Yeah.
So if something is, 10 pounds, I'm like, oh, it's only $10. And then it's not. It's literally like 35% more expensive. So everything just adds up. And I feel like when you're looking at it from an American lens, you're like, oh, that's not that bad. That's not that bad. And then you get your credit card statement and you're like, oh, wait, I did not take the conversion into account. So that's just the only thing I would say. But culturally, I do think, I mean, there's like little things. It's funny. Like me and my boyfriend always notice the little things that were like very culturally different in, or like things that I didn't know about, British culture, anything like that. But overall, you're not going to notice it that much when you're there. I guess beware of like phone snatchers. That is a very real thing. I almost had my phone stolen from me. So make sure you're not just like looking down on your phone when you're in the street.
Yeah, okay, good to know. I feel like that's a very like Europe thing as well. People talk about that in Paris where your phone gets snatched or just your wallet gets snatched a lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's a real thing there. So like don't put your bag on the chair, on the table, or anything like that when you're outside.
Yeah, okay, good to know, girlies. When you go to Europe, you go to London, make sure you don't do what she said. Okay, well, we're coming to the end of this podcast, but what I love asking every one of my guests before we wrap up is what would you tell your younger self if you could go back and talk to her? When I say younger self, I mean like 15, 16.
Yeah, this is such a good question. I think when I was 15 or 16, I was very consumed with like what people thought about me. Like I was like very hyper aware of it. Not to the point where it necessarily like stopped me from doing things. Like I said, I started my YouTube channel then and I was definitely made fun of. So I'm glad I never let it stop me from doing that, but to the point where it affected me a lot. Like it really did impact me. I really did care and it like made me really sad. So I would tell my younger self like to really try to like not let it affect you. Don't care, don't worry because it all works out in the end. And there's just like no point in worrying about what people think about you.
I love that. I feel like that's honestly just a secret to anything in life. Just stop caring what other people think and it gets easier.
Oh my God, it's so freeing. It's the best feeling when you're like, actually, I don't care.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the people that are actually meant to be in your life are not going to be caring and judging you like this. So who cares?
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm an adult and I don't like, there's no one that I care that much about in terms of like to like make fun of or think something is super strange or that I'm like wasting my energy on.
Yeah.
Um, so I think Taylor Swift recently said it on a podcast, like your energy is currency, like not everyone
Yeah.
don't everyone or don't spend it on everyone. I don't know exactly the quote, but what she said.
Well, thank you so much for coming on to Brown Girl Unscripted, Natalie. I had such a fun time talking to you, and I'll definitely plug your socials in the description. So, guys, make sure you go check it out. And as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks
Bye.
for having me.